Father Abbot John, Dr. Quaid, esteemed faculty and staff, honored trustees, alumni, parents and guests, and my fellow students. In 1963, 50 years ago, the Beatles released their first album. Coca-Cola introduced its first diet drink, Tab. Paul VI succeeded John the 23rd as Pope and opened the second session of Vatican II. JFK was assassinated. Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his I Have a Dream speech, and Marmion Academy held its very first Salute to Youth. As many of you gaze upon my youthful visage, you might wonder how I am going to speak about a tradition that nearly triples my entire life experience. As I look upon many of your more experienced faces, I am well aware that I must be delicate not to suggest that 50 years is an inordinately long time. Relatively few things have remained constant throughout the past 50 years. Formal became semi-formal, which became business casual, which became casual. Letters became phone calls, which became emails, which became texts and tweets. Family dinner time became TV time, which became sport time or extra hours at the office time. Yet, in this era of seemingly indiscriminate change, Marmion has remained constant, holding firmly to its traditions. For me, and I suspect for many of you, there are certain Marmion traditions that stand out. The crazy antics that occur in a school filled with all guys, monks like Father Basil, Father Joel, Father Kenneth, and Abbot Vincent, dedicated faculty members like Dr. George and Dr. Hollinger, Mass in the Abbey Church, Salute to Youth, the homecoming bonfire, raising and retiring the colors, after-school formations, dropping the underclassmen, only when necessary, of course, and the charming disposition of Sergeant Major and the military staff. That Marmion is steeped in tradition is no surprise. Benedictines take as a fourth vow the vow of stability. You can look to them as the very guardians of tradition. The monks have established Marmion as their home. As their hair turns from brown to gray to gone, they remain steadfast of heart and constant in their purpose. Nothing will happen to lessen the excellence of Marmion on their watch. Marmion is not, however, merely the sum of many wonderful traditions. Nor is Marmion merely a school and an abbey. Marmion is first and foremost a family. For the past 50 years, Salute to Youth has been a family reunion. Salute is a gathering of people who have experienced something incredible, a unique animation of Christian love. The rule of Saint Benedict challenges us to always welcome the stranger or visitor as if he or she were Christ himself. This rule is a rule of love that permeates the life of Marmion. Love is lived out heroically by the monks. It is embraced by the faculty and staff, and it is reflected in the lives of Marmion alumni and students. If you send your son to Marmion, you know that he is valued. If you have attended Marmion, you know that you are loved. We trust that God will always provide Marmion with monks to welcome as Christ those who knock at their door, whether that person is a stranger, an old friend, or a prodigal student. Every one of you has, in one way or another, knocked at the doors of Marmion. Every one of you has been welcomed, and every one of you is now an integral part of the Marmion family. Tonight, you honor the class of 2012. We are the newest members of the Marmion family. You have come to recognize our accomplishments and wish us well in our coming endeavors. But at the same time, we honor you. You are the alumni whose loyal support has sustained Marmion all these years. You are the faculty, staff, and monks who have dedicated your time and efforts to educating us. And you are the parents who have loved us and footed our tuition bills for the past 4 years. I invite you to look ahead with me to 50 years from today. The year is 2062. And what has stunned medical science, Abbott Gerald, at 152 years old, Abbott Gerald at 152 years old is the guest of honor and the first on the dance floor. There is still a lot of buzz over the Cubs World Series victory last October. Marmion Abbey has a waiting list for prospective monks. And my classmates, all wildly successful and extremely generous towards Marmion, are in attendance. Perhaps that is somewhat overly optimistic, at least the part about the Cubs winning the World Series. But in the depths of my heart, I believe that 50 years from now, a group of fine young men and their dates, holy monks, dedicated faculty, loving family members, and generous alumni will gather for the 100th Salute to Youth. I look forward to seeing you there, and I hope that the open bar tradition continues until then. Thank you.